Taher, thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us. Good morning. What do you make of this announcement, Taher? And there is naturally going to be a knee-jerk reaction. Will it all that will be, or could the markets face further music?
Well, I'd like to think that it'll probably be a knee-jerk reaction and maybe last for a couple of days. We have to remember a couple of things that, one, this is not something which is still final. While, of course, this kicks in because the U.S. has to meet that deadline of the 1st of August. But it doesn't mean that, not just for India, but for everybody else, probably, I don't think this is going to be an issue which is roses. It is probably going to continue. And we will get to our final this perhaps by September, October, as we know. But in general, having said that, despite whatever the timelines might be, would be that, A, it's limited in terms of its impact because of our overall global exposure. Plus, I think that this is not, I mean, even if it would probably come to this kind of a deal, I don't think it's a bad deal for India. At the end of the day, I heard somebody from your team say that we should not open up our sectors very easily. And that's, if that is a benefit that we are going to get, I think versus many other countries which have done 15, if you're going to get 25 without probably giving up a dollar, versus many other countries which are actually spending hundreds of billion dollars to get to that 15% or below. I think it's not a bad deal at all. And I would like to think that we still have, while we will have some loss as far as our economy is concerned, 20 or 30 odd dips in terms of growth, I don't think India does not have the necessary domestic levers, unlike many other countries, to be able to compensate for that and make it up for that in other ways through strengthening the domestic economy or probably increasing investments at all and maybe giving up a little bit on the fiscal as well in order to accommodate higher growth. So I think the impact will, to my mind, be limited and probably, but having said that, I mean, the market will be focused on many other things as well, and key among them will be the fact that the dollar will start to appreciate, perhaps now with many of the trade deals behind. So that is something which might come in the way of the markets for the near term more than the impact of tariffs.
Taher, point well made. I'm just wondering if, as a watcher of this, as it plays out, should dissociate the negotiations that are currently underway on what seems to be a broader trade agreement, because their delegation is expected to come into India on the 25th of August, and what would the implications of that be?
Like as I said, this is not full and final and not sealed. I'm sure there are certain nagging issues which perhaps need to be resolved, especially with regard to some of the sensitive sectors in India. And if India can hold on to many of these advantages for itself and not necessarily give on to everything, then I think a little higher tariffs on a few sectors will probably not break us. But like as I said, the window is still open. So since they need to meet the 1st August deadline at their end, I think that is the reason why we get this 25% initially. And hopefully it winds down if at all. And if it doesn't, I don't really think, like as I said, it's a very bad deal.
Taher, just one quick question. What do you think the retaliation should be or the response should be? How should India do this? Because this is clearly, it's like being on an episode of a Trump show. We're all part of this Trump reality show, and the ball is now in our court. How would you respond?
So I read something last night, the government's reaction saying that they want to stay put and not necessarily react by any kind of retaliatory tariffs or any such thing. And that I think is a good thing. Like as I said, I would pick this deal, to get home with 25% and probably protect most of your sectors. You probably also get to, perhaps with some small penalty, retain your position with Russia, probably get some discounts in oil, and you'll cover up for your penalty as well. I think in many ways, actually, I think it's not a bad deal at this stage, and probably you should take it before someone changes his mind.
On that note, Taher, thanks so much for joining us this morning and for that perspective.